Hello, everybody. Listening to the Fairweather Podcast. Your boy 2K Swampy. I'm here with Aaron Judge. No, I'm here with Alex Rodriguez and the red hot New York Yankees. How's everything going, sir?
Everything is going good, my guy. Loving baseball right now. Usually at this point in the season, I'm like teetering, but they're making me love baseball more and more. So keep watching baseball more and more and more as the days.
I'm proud of y'all's accomplishments right now. It was these last when's the last time y'all won? It was like 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Yeah, y'all in a little bit of a drought.
Yeah, but it's expected. I mean, there's a winning culture there, so I'm happy with that. But of course, if you don't win it, do you remember who doesn't win?
It's like the Knicks are rubbing off on the Yankees.
It wasn't that bad.
Man. I know. I'm just kidding.
It wasn't that bad, but things weren't adding up, and I didn't think this season the moves they made were adding up. But hey, man, that's why I'm not running the Yankees. So there's a lot to be happy in New York if you're a Yankee fan right now. So I'm continuing loving.
Or a Met fan too, for that matter.
Or a Met fan at that. And we'll touch on that in this show. But this guy behind me, MVP, man, MVP.
He's at what, 22 home runs?
21. But yeah, man, he deserves every money. If they want to pay him more than Trout, he deserves it. They need to just break the bank for this man and don't even let San Francisco or any other teams come at him. So, but yeah, let's jump into the show. Episode 69.
Oh, nice.
A great number. So obviously we're going to talk the final split 1-1. It'll just be open convo, and probably by the time you listen to this, if you listen to it on time, it'll be game 3. But if you listen to 20 years from now, who cares, right? So 1-1 split. We'll discuss, those takeaways from the way that both the Warriors and Boston Celtics have been playing. We'll jump into some MLB talk finally. We'll talk about the big firings between Angels and the Phillies of 2 well-known head coaches, and
to
see if that can spark a comeback for these teams. We'll just discuss, I guess, the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers that are surging right now and how are they so successful. Payroll does play behind that, but we'll dive into more of the analytics behind that as well. And then we'll do some NFL talk about Deshaun Watson. His name is being brought back up again. Now they've got all the witnesses on lock of how many he's seen. So we'll just talk about that in an open segment. And then for our fun segment, a la Draymond Green at the podium, calling out all the 90s players, saying who the best, that he could hang with all of them and they couldn't hang with him. We're just going to give off I'm going to give off my memorable NBA bruises that I got to watch. So all those dirty players, those guys you needed on your team to hit you with a quick foul or defend Michael or wherever they were, just an enforcer, those type of players.
The enforcers, that's the word I like.
Yeah. The enforcers. So I'm going to give my top 3 or 5. So we'll just go from there and have some fun with it at that. But let's just jump into the NBA Finals talk really quick. We're split at 1-1. I think when we saw Boston win on Golden State floor, everybody was like, Boston's got this in the bag. Me, however, I am a true believer in Steph Curry. I've seen him
closet Golden State fan.
And a closet Golden State fan. And I'm crazy to say that because I've never liked Golden State. I think I really hated them because they were just playing against LeBron James, and I'm a huge LeBron fan. I know KK is bigger than I am, but I consider LeBron James probably one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA, and I never root against the guy, but I could never root for the Warriors. And then when Kevin Durant went there, it just made me really dislike the team more. But if I can sit here and say I truly enjoy watching Steph play, I'm a huge Draymond Green fan. I absolutely love Draymond.
Yeah, that's my guy.
and Klay Thompson, he's also, there's nothing you cannot not like about the guy.
Yeah.
So we're at a 1-1 split. Obviously Boston got spanked in the second game, almost blowout-esque. What was it, 19 points?
Yeah. The second game was 19. Good math. Good math.
Yeah. I just trying to go off memory there. I always try to go off memory, people. I don't pull up stats behind me. I just go off the dome on these. So if it's wrong, I'm always wrong. Anyway,
good math. It's good math. Don't worry.
So yeah, they come in to Golden State thinking, I don't want to say this was going to be easy. Nothing is given, everything is earned, obviously. But Golden State showed them what the business was, and I expected that of Golden State. One thing to take away from this, that before we kind of like just talk and I give you the mic, Boston has been the best team on the road. I think they've only lost one game on the road. I think
I think it was not one, but they've been very good on the road. It wasn't just one game though, but they've been very good on the road.
That's what it is. They've been really bad at home. That's what
bad at home. That's the thing. Yeah.
Their home play has been pretty bad. And you would think for a town like Boston and an energy that you get playing in Boston's arena, it would be different. But this is going to be a good time to capitalize for the Warriors, in my opinion, because they show no fear in me. And even when they're losing, they still find a way to try and inch back. But I feel like they learn a lot from their mistakes going forward. And every interview that you see after the games, they're answering the right questions. They're not dipping and dodging around it. And they go out there and put in the work. And if Draymond's got to call out some guys, he's going to do it. So, I mean, give me your takeaways from everything, though. I'm going to be hogging the mic, and I don't want to do that.
No, to answer your question, they've lost only 3 games on the road. So that'll put them like at, I think, 8-3 or something like that on the road, which is, I mean, that's very impressive.
That is.
But so, I mean, kind of the things that I've gotten, well, actually, no, 7, 8-3. But anyway, some of the things that I've gotten, Jason Tatum hasn't played his best yet, and it's a 1-1 series. So, and obviously there was no way I expected Boston to sweep Golden State. I know Sammy last week said Boston in 5, and I kind of balked at that. But what I saw in game 1, what I saw in game 1 is that they know what to do to stop them. It's just a matter, are they going to be able to execute that plan? Because at the end of the day, everyone knows what you do to stop a certain player, but that certain player is always going to be at an advantage because the rules are beneficiary to the offensive player anyway. So, and Steph Curry's range is ridiculous. And when you have to deal with Steph Curry in the court, it makes everyone's life on the court a lot easier. So that's why you're going to see Jordan Poole, get what he gets, and you're going to see Klay Thompson, you're going to see Andrew Wiggins. I mean, in game 2, the points were spread out a little bit. And another key thing that I also noticed is that, we talked about Jason Tatum hasn't played his best yet, but neither has Klay Thompson. So,
absolutely not.
It's and again, obviously we're speaking right before game 3, so we're not even 100% sure what how's it going to look in Boston. But just from my vantage point, what I've paid attention to so far, this should very easily go 7. I think so far in the 8 quarters that they've played, I would say that Golden State has outplayed Boston for the most part. Particularly because they're the best third quarter team in the history of the NBA. So in the third quarter they're going to smack you in the mouth all the time. Fourth quarter, Boston was the best in game 1, and then and Golden State was the best in game 2. So it's really just going to be who gets off to the hot start, and then who's able to close the best. Because quarter 3, just give it to Golden State, and then quarter 1. It kind of just really to me, it just really depends on hot starts at this point. And you got to make sure that Klay Thompson doesn't get into game 6 Klay at any point, because if he starts going off, then it's going to be a night termite for Boston. But as long as Jason Tatum picks up his game offensively a little bit more, he's doing a good job of facilitating and getting his guys involved. I think in game 1 he had 13 assists or something like that.
Game 1 he just had to lay back because he was playing the facilitating role. And
he took 17 shots. He was 3 for 17, so that's not good.
He realized it wasn't hitting, and he was finding the open man. Plus, they also had a crazy 3-point surge in the fourth quarter, which if that didn't happen, we had ourselves a game. But Golden State rarely goes cold, went super cold, and they weren't missing anything, and they were contested 3-point shots that were getting made too. So tip of the hat to Boston there, man. Derek White, like, if he's any unsung hero, and I know he only had 12 points last game, but that's all the points Derek White needs to have. Derek White doesn't need to be scoring 30 points.
No, but I want like 15 from him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, but 12 is a good amount too. I mean,
and 4 of 13 shooting, I'm not a fan of. So
I'm not a fan of that.
So for them, honestly, looking at Boston, their shooting has just been bad. Like,
it has been.
They haven't shot well. So I mean, what's his name? And they're taking too many threes. Like Tatum took 9 threes.
That's the NBA.
Jaylen Brown took 9 threes. You can't be taking all these threes to finals. It's grit and grind. That's how I see it.
But they're trying to beat the Celtics at their own game, and that's what we talked about last time.
The Warriors at their own game.
I mean, yeah, they're trying to beat the Warriors at their own game. So it's a team that loves to shoot threes, and if they get ahead of you in the 3-ball, you're SOL. So,
bro, do you know how many 3-pointers Steph Curry has taken through 2 games?
Probably 40.
26.
Oh, Jesus.
14 in the first game and 12 in the second game. And I'm getting on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for shooting 9. That's a lot of threes.
That's expected. That's expected of him, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And obviously has championship rings and MVPs to back it up, and also the athletic
finals MVPs though. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I don't care about that stuff.
I truly don't either. But even at that, he's also crowned the greatest scorer of all time. So we have
scorer or shooter.
Shooter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, scorer.
My bad.
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant got something to say about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I am. My bad on the verbiage there. But Steph, I expect that from him. I expect him to shoot a lot. But Clay, like, you can definitely see the injury like still kind of hampering him a little bit. And I mean, I'm hoping he can break out of this slump. But you see the role players just doing what little bit they can to make up for that. So if they need 5 points from this guy, they'll get that 5 points and dish it out wherever they can. But everybody's eating, everybody's scoring. They're just so quick. They're very, very quick. And
they move the ball really well. I mean, at the end of the day, the one thing that Golden State separates themselves from every team, because every team just thought, oh, they just shoot a lot of threes, blase, and that's how they can be successful. But no, they move the ball so well. It's beautiful. And yeah, remember I was talking about Steve Kerr last week, coming from that San Antonio system. Chicago used to move the ball pretty well when they're in that triangle, and he was part of that system. San Antonio has always been about ball movement. They have perhaps the greatest power forward of all time, and he didn't dominate the ball. He just did what he was supposed to do. He was the best leader, all that stuff. So, it's going to be it's interesting. It's very interesting to see how Boston can be able to respond at home. 2 games at home. To me, the only way Boston wins this series, well, it's not that it's impossible, because we talked about it with Samuel last week. Boston can go win Game 7 in Golden State if they have to, but that experience that Golden State has in a Game 7 at home, that's going to be tough to overcome for Boston. So if I'm Boston, I'm going into Massachusetts with the sole purpose: we going 2-0, and that's it. We're gonna go 2-0. And then we'll see how the chips fall after that. And then also on a very, very random note, Cooper Kupp just got paid 3-year, $110 million extension. We're gonna get to the NFL, but there is no salary cap in the NFL, because they just gave Aaron Donald hella money, and now they just gave Cooper Kupp hella money. They get the head coach hella money. There's hella money that goes around. But anyway, yeah.
Salary cap is a myth in the NFL.
There's no way.
There isn't. It's like they literally it's like they paint it's like they get a pony and they paint like a freaking dog on it and say, here's a dog. That's how, it's ridiculous. And it's not a pony. But yeah, man, the Warriors, I'm sorry, Boston, I would be worried if I'm them. Honestly, truthfully, I could care less who wins. Just want to see a good final.
I care. I want Boston to win.
I'm a good fan of the sport. I just want to see a good series. But like I said, I don't count out Steph and I don't count out the Warriors. They've been here a few times and they're not significantly old. I mean, old teams don't get to the NBA Finals. It's just not how it happens.
The Lakers just showed you that they can't even get to the playoff.
So Boston going into their home arena now, they've got to be worried. I wouldn't say backs up against the wall. I would just say you have to feed off the crowd, and you're gonna have to find ways to create shots. Like, I don't know why they're so afraid to go down low. Like that's my one thing that I'm just kind of like.
Kevon Looney was punking him. That's why Kevon Looney looked like he's. I'm like, bro, why don't y'all take advantage of this matchup? And Kevon Looney, I thought they were benching him in the season. I never really saw him do much this year. And then playoff time comes and Kevon Looney is the big dog now.
Playoff Looney, man.
Playoff Looney's real.
Yeah, and he's hungry. He wants another one. I mean, I get it, but I don't know, man. Boston Tatum's definitely got to step up. Like, you got to see a game out of Tatum. And I feel like, all this romanticizing the Kobe shit, like I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to.
It's a little much, right?
It's a little much. And the media is doing too much with it. They're just trying to romanticize it. Like, I saw some the other day, like, he's changing his number to 24. Like, come on, just stop.
I'm like, all right. And you know what? And it's weird because I know he's romanticizing it. And I saw a report earlier. In game 2, just really quickly, Jason Tatum did have 28 points, but he was a minus 36. Yeah. Not even minus 36 in a playoff game. That's beyond me. That's what we're talking about when he's played better. Because if you just look at stats, like, 28 points. He made a lot of plays. Minus 36 is terrible. But yeah. I saw a report today that he was sad that the Lakers didn't draft him, and he's talking about the Lakers. I'm like, bruh, you played for the rival. Stop talking about the Lakers.
Yeah, man. Red Auerbach's turning over in his grave.
Right? He was like, bro, I want to hear this shit.
Like, I get it. They don't care that you like Kobe. Everybody likes Kobe, but like, don't put that juju on the team right now, man. Yeah. And I have nothing to tell Jaylen Brown. Like, Jaylen Brown is doing his thing every game. He's like the unsung hero that we don't have to worry about for the most part. But the other too, though. Huh? What was that?
I said he got to step up. I mean, they all got to step up. Like,
he does, but like, he's doing what he needs to do. Like, to play second fiddle, he's doing what the second fiddle needs to do. I see him taking smart shots. I see him driving to the lane. Yeah, he's missing some of those, but at least he's playing defense and he's scoring when he needs to score. We expect more out of Tatum. We said this already. We need to see this out of Tatum. Tatum's got to step up. And the other guys, like Al Horford, you go for 28 one game and 2 the next, like that's
not going to cut it.
That can't cut it. You got to have more than 2 points. At least give me 9. At least give me 10, man.
Yeah. Give me something, bro. Give me just, I don't know, give me something. But yeah, I mean, tell me, Boston, they need to treat, and you were just alluded to it a little bit. Boston needs to treat game 3 and game 4 like their must-win situation. Like, they can't go in like, what is it, pussyfooting it or whatever they say. Like, they need to go in like, yo, it's game 7 every day from here on out, because if Klay Thompson gets going, it might go a gentleman's sweep. So they got to just go into this situation like, like, damn, this is real. This is for real basketball now.
Yeah, and
we'll see.
That's the sleeping giant you don't want to wake up. If anything, they should be thankful that it hasn't woken up yet. And he hasn't had that great of a season. I mean, he came back from a major injury, and I don't think they rushed him in. He's been out for a while now. So, but it's going to take some time for him to build up that momentum. It's going to take some time to get on those screens as he used to get to. It's going to take some time to cut to get there. And it's unfortunate at this time, but I mean, you want to be on that top 75 list and you were left off, my guy. So let's show them why you should be on it.
Yeah, but as long as they still have these Jordan Pools and they got back GP the second, the Looney was a plus. Looney and Steph Curry were both plus 24s. Otto Porter was a plus 24. They got Otto Porter. They got Moses Moody. They got B. Elite. They got depth, and Boston's gonna have to just match the depth with their depth, basically.
Yeah, they've got speed, they've got youth on their sides, and they just got shooters. Everybody can shoot on that team, and everybody knows their role. Jordan Poole definitely knows he's not taking Steph Curry's shine. He knows he's not taking Klay's shine. He knows where he needs to come off and score. And we can say Jordan Poole had a good game last game, but a lot of it was kind of like when they took the starters out and let him do it, and then he also hit that half-court shot.
Half-court shot, yeah.
I mean, Jordan Poole, I think, is a budding star. I really do think he's going to be something to watch in the NBA next year. I think they're finally letting the chains off and letting him go free and play ball like he needs to play. Because what happens to all these players is they get lost in the system, they get lost on the bench. But Golden State really, really lately has been priding all their draft picks and letting them play. And I truly enjoy seeing that.
Built through the draft.
And I think I don't know, man. Boston, they definitely have to have some type of like concern for sure. Like
absolutely.
And I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just think Tatum definitely has to step up. Your role players, they got to play better. What did Marcus Smart do last game?
Marcus Smart, and that was a good question because his impact wasn't really felt. He had 2 points.
Exactly.
Minus 12 with 2 points. How many assists? 5 assists. So it wasn't like he was out there, John Stockton it.
Pussyfooting around, like you said.
Pussyfooting around.
if you're labeled as this great defensive player and want to be part of this big three, which I would consider him part of this big three, like you're gonna have to do more than 2 points, my guy.
Well, to his defense, his only job should be you go guard Steph Curry. Because look, Draymond Green. They're asked to do the same thing, right? Draymond Green had 4 points in game 1. That's not anything to smile at. And 9 points in game 2. 9, 5, and 7 in game 2, and then 4, 11, and 5 in game 1. Like it's not like he's blowing the doors off with points himself. It's just he's tasked to be the defensive anchor for the Golden State Warriors. Marcus Smart is tasked to be go stick Steph Curry and make sure he doesn't get busy. He hasn't done that great of a job on Steph. Steph is going off. Steph, they did a good job on Steph in the end of game 1, like that second half, particularly that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But if he's not able to be on Steph for the rest of the series and really just lock him, you can't stop Steph Curry, but you gotta make him double guess and think. Make him like run a little bit more, like make him tire himself out. That's what I would do. And then on the offensive end, like when LeBron and them was playing against Golden State, they would say, "You, Steph Curry, come over here." Like they need to go screen and roll, and it needs to be Tatum versus Steph Curry, or it needs to be Jaylen Brown versus Steph Curry, and those two just need to single him out and just go at him, make him work on defense. Because at the end of the day, defense is a tiring thing to play, and because you got to be in a chair, you got to be sliding left and right, you got to reach in, you got to get rebounds, you got to try to block shots. Defense is hard, so they need to make him work so that when he gets on the offensive end, he's a little bit more tired. He doesn't have the legs. His shots are going to be a little bit shorter. That to me is going to be that needs to be the plan of action for them to be.
I agree with what be out the scoring. I mean, Marcus Smart has to score too. 2 points isn't the type of game that he has. I'm sorry. Like
Draymond Green is the third most important player on the court, and he's averaging 6 points a game.
What did he average in the regular season? I bet he didn't even average 10 points a game in the regular season.
Draymond? Hell no. I heavily doubt it.
Exactly. But he fills up all the other roles you need to. Marcus Smart doesn't grab you rebounds. Marcus Smart can assist, but I don't think he averages like near 10 assists a game, maybe 5, maybe 6 at max. But he's also a scorer too in my books. He would be the third scorer on that team. And he needs to step up. Like it can't be the Tatum and Brown can't score you 50 each.
They need to score them 50. Brother, Jason Tatum's a superstar, and Jaylen Brown is not a super. I wouldn't call him a superstar, but he's a very good star. And those two need to give you 50 points every night for you to have a chance. Like that is a fact. because you can't outscore Golden State. You have to defend them really well and then hold your own on the offensive end. And yeah, Draymond Green hasn't averaged more than 8 points a game since 2017. 7.4, 8, 7.0, 7.5. That is his points per game. And his impact is still that great because he plays his role, and he plays his role really well. Like, go back and look at Ron Harper when he was playing with the Bulls. He was locking up everybody at the top of the key. I don't think he
wasn't scoring 20 a game anymore either.
I don't think he wasn't Cleveland Ron Harper. He wasn't giving you all that. So
exactly.
Sometimes you just got to know your role and just play it really well. And maybe, Marcus Smart is not the shooter or scorer that these other guys are, but he can lock up. I mean, he won Defensive Player of the Year, right? So that got to count for something. So it's we'll see. And then just to kind of look at my stat that I was talking about with what's his name, Ron Harper. Yeah, his last few years, it was 6.9, 7.4, 6.3, 9.3. Like, that is all you need. Ron Harper will take John Stockton, he'll take Gary Payton, and then he'll make a couple threes here and there, or a couple fast break layups. That's all Marcus Smart need to do. Guard that man and make sure he don't go off on you. And then, just don't turn the ball over, and don't get in the way of Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Simple.
Yeah, we'll see what they can. I'm curious to see what'll happen. I'm kind of excited for tonight's game. So
yeah, I guess
content
hopefully it goes at least 6 or 7. I don't want no 5-game gentleman sweep. I don't want none of that.
7. I'm sticking with 7 with mine. I think it's gonna go. I think both teams. It just seems like this whole NBA playoffs has been like really streaky. Like, teams get hot, we get some close games, and then we'll just blowouts.
You want to keep it a buck? This has been one of the most boring playoffs I've watched in a very long time. Like, let's be very honest here. Outside of that Game 7 that Boston Miami played, what else was exciting? I don't remember. I don't like Luka had a couple that I liked, but outside of that, think about it. These first 2 games was 12 and 19 points. It was exciting to see Boston go on that run, but then they blew the doors off Oracle Arena. So it's like, well, damn. So it's like, no, it's not Oracle anymore. It's the Chase Center now, right? Yeah, the Chase Center, I think that's what it's called. Either way, like, it's been hella boring. So definitely want to see some action. I don't want to see none of this blowout, streaky. Like, we need to see some basketball being played.
Yeah,
I miss that. That's what I miss.
Yeah, and kudos for Draymond calling out people saying, like, can't hang with the old stars and stuff like that. I'll give him props there, but the only thing that I feel like going out into this NBA, it's definitely a different style of game. It's definitely different. I think Draymond could hold his own with all those bruises that we'll get into the fun segment. I think he could hold his own with them, but I think a lot of these players, like, it's a totally different game. I think they could hang, but like, that's what you had your Judd Butchlers for, to be your Steph Currys that came off on a screen and shot that 3 in the corner, or your freaking Tony Delks or whoever.
Yeah, back in the day, you had your great players and then you had specialists. That's exactly how it used to be. You had the 3-point specialist. You had the tough guy on the team. You had the rebounder. Like, literally, look at Chicago. They had Dennis Rodman, 18 rebounds. They had Michael Jordan, 30 points and 6 assists and 6 rebounds. Scottie Pippen, go guard the other team's best player. Luke Longley, just be a big body down low and be there. Then they bring Steve. What? And
then Luke Longley, and they bring in the next one, Bill Wennington.
And then Bill Wennington. And then they got specialists. Steve Kerr, come make some threes. BJ Armstrong, come make some threes. Paxson, come make some threes. Like, that's how it used to be. Now everybody got to be able to do everything. Draymond can hang in any era, but he talks too much, right? He talks too much. Nah, never mind. He's backed it up. He's earned that right to talk as much as he does. I just want him to shut up sometimes, because I do like the guy, but I forgot who was talking about, but he was like, yeah, he can't hang with me, and He was talking about Grant Williams. Like, he doesn't want Grant Williams wants to be me or something like that. I'm like, bro, just relax. Relax.
Yeah. I think that's just the hype in your head. But yeah, just chill out, man.
But like this, he has earned the right to talk his talk.
Absolutely. I agree. Like, if anybody, you wouldn't expect Steph to say shit like that, like, oh, Ray Allen can't hang with me, or Reggie Miller can't hang with my shooting.
Yeah, because he honors them. That's why.
He honors them. But I feel like we want, I think what it is, the narrative with Draymond is like he's part of the big three, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Like, to us, we know why he's part of the big three. He was drafted in the same era. He brings the energy. He's the glue to the mold. He's been the defensive player of the year. He's been an all-star. He's made an all-NBA team, I think. He's definitely cemented himself within this organization. His stats
Hall of Famer.
we want him to average 20 points a game. And people are thinking because you're a defensive specialist that you also need to average 20 a game too. And that's not how it works. You need to lock down the players you need to lock down. You need to, box out, get rebounds, be that enforcer that we'll touch on later, and just make your name heard. And I think that's the thing, is like, we want to see Draymond score 20 a game. Yeah. That's not Draymond's game. Draymond's game is get in your head, and whether it's on the court or whether it's behind the podium, he's going to get in your head and do what he needs to do. And I'm waiting until he hangs it up and goes on TNT with the boys.
Take over from Charles Barkley, because that's what's going to happen.
I can't wait.
They're gonna bring Patrick Beverly with him.
No, please don't. No Pat Bev, please.
I'm trying to find the exact stat. I don't want my mouth's gonna be a little bit off, but I saw a stat where it said the Warriors are 20. I think it was like 22-6 when Draymond Green has a technical foul in the playoffs, something like that. 20, like I think it was 21-3. It was some crazy number. I was like, damn. That's why he talks, because he ignites the whole team to just go crazy. So to hit, if I'm like, I think Udoka said it, like, if I'm playing against Draymond Green, I'm trying to get that double technical out the way early so that he has 3 quarters to be on his best behavior. Like, that's how I would do it. I would send my enforcer into the game. Like, who doesn't play a lot of minutes for the Celtics? I'll send, not Pritchard, he got to make some threes. I'll send Nick Stauskas from the University of Michigan. He know he can't hang with Draymond Green, but I'll say, Nick, go be a pest to Draymond. First 6 minutes, bother him as much as you can so that he throws it to the ground. Like, get off me, little boy. Double technical. Now he has 3 quarters to be on his best behavior. That's how I would approach it. I'll play dirty. I'm playing dirty. You gotta get messy when you play against Golden State. You can't just let them go be, all these pretty boys, like light-skinned Steph Curry and light-skinned Klay Thompson, light-skinned Jordan Poole, light-skinned Gary Payton II, light-skinned Otto Porter. Like, I'm tired of seeing all these light-skinned boys just go crazy. Like, go, you gotta get mucky with them. You gotta get dirty. You gotta get dirty. Like, Draymond Green is the only reason why they have some kind of street cred, because he's from Saginaw, Michigan. He's team dark skin for real, but he holds it down for all them light skinned brothers. That's why he's like the bodyguard. Like, bro, I got to make sure my light skinned brothers are doing good. I mean, think about it. Sean Livingston back in the day. Shit, yeah. So yeah, light skinned brothers, man.
Fucking mouse in the house and monkey, I'm in. Oh man, yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting series. So can't wait for game 3 tonight in Boston. So let's.
And then while y'all listen to this, hopefully the team that you like is up, because game 4 is gonna be a doozy.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some baseball. Your manager, one of my favorite coaches for the Yankees.
Your former manager.
Let go after losing, what was it, 12 or 14 games?
I don't know the exact number of how many games lost, but we were 9 games under 500 at that point. I think it was 8 games under 500 at that point, something like that. For a team that has a lot of talent. So yeah, it was warranted.
It's unfortunate too. And who's the other one? The Angels. The Angels
Joe
lost
Maddon.
12 in a row, and Joe Maddon is gone.
Yeah.
Two big name head coaches too, the two big name managers at that. So, I mean, both teams. I would say the Phillies have more talent on paper. When you look at the rosters. Obviously, can't take away that the Angels have Mike Trout.
The best baseball player in the world, Mike Trout, and then they got modern day Babe Ruth.
Yeah, they got two MVPs back
but think about it, and you have to think from an owner standpoint. I'm paying Mike Trout this. I got Ohtani. I got Bryce Harper. I got Zach Wheeler. I got superstar talent on the mound, on the grass, whatever you want to call it. We should not be losing 12 games in a row. We should not be 22 and 29 or whatever. Like Joe Girardi over 3 seasons was 132 and 141. Like when we got him, I was like, yeah. We got some championship mentality. This is exactly what we need. And he's 9 games under 500 in the two seasons and change that he's been here. It's not going to work. Bryce Harper just won an MVP last year, and we wasted that. Now this year, I mean, we got good players, and it's being wasted. Same thing with the Angels. Like Mike Trout, I feel so bad for that man because like he's not vocal enough to make it a point. Like, yo, we got to do something about this. But the talent is always going to be there. He's one of the most talented baseball players I've seen, and it's being wasted for years and years and years with just how they've ran things over there. So, you got to make these tough decisions in June because you don't want this to bleed over into August. And then, like, damn, we lost another season.
Yeah, and it's a tough one because, like you said, like there's experience there. Joe's got a ring. Maddon's got a Maddon has a ring with the Angels and with the Cubs as the manager. So there's the talent is there managerial wise, but
he never won a ring with the Angels.
Yeah, he did as a bench coach.
Oh, okay. I was talking about more. Okay, got it. That's fine.
Not as a head coach.
Yeah,
but
he has an ALCS.
Well, no, but it is hard because the transition to that, and then it also is tough trying to replace them because if you keep it in house, like who's the next guy up? Is he going to be a good candidate? Is he well fit to run the team? And I mean, you don't want to root against a guy like that either for him to get fired. But if you can't produce,
but you have to understand though.
Yeah, no, you do. And I thought beginning of this year Joe Girardi was gone. I just thought like they're going to get rid of him because there's too much talent there, and they went and got more talent. And granted, in my personal humble opinion about your signings is you got a lot of guys at K, and I mean, what's Schwarber averaging, like not even 200?
I think it was like 216 or maybe less than that.
No, it's gonna be like 190 or something. It's abysmal. Like, but he still gets RBIs and stuff. So you got to know how to like use these guys in the right instances and where they're going to play. Obviously, Schwarber is going to be your DH is what I would, but I think they're having Bryce Harper be the DH. So it's managing lineups, it's managing egos, and I feel like what I know about Girardi, because obviously he was my manager before he was your manager, I think his ego is pretty big, and he's a health nut. He wants his players to do things this way, and he doesn't have a lot of young guys on the team, but he does have a guy who didn't go to school and plays baseball, Nick Castellanos. So that's a lot of ego that you got to go up against. And I don't know. We
got some young guys.
Yeah, there's a few.
Stott and Albone.
Yeah, there's a few, but for the most part, it's a well evened out team. But I don't know.
And for what it's worth, we've won 5 games in a row since Girardi got fired.
Yeah, exactly.
There's clearly something is working. And this year we're plus 19 in run differential. So the team is fine. We're only 3.5 games back of a wild card spot. So the move happened at the right time because I think it put that battery in their back and that awareness like, yo, y'all gotta tighten up. We paying all we cutting checks for y'all not to make the playoffs. It's not gonna work. So I don't have any personal attachment to Girardi like that. So I felt bad for a second, but I didn't feel bad. Like, I'm like, bro, I don't feel bad for you.
If anyone that's insane to me is Joe Maddon, because like I didn't see that come. I know they lost a lot of games. They lost 12 games in a row, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, but like I've been saying all year, like and we talked about it with some friends earlier, and they were like, oh no, they got it under control. And they were, for a while, they were one in their division, and then they went slumping really quick.
Now they're at 13 games lost in a row. And Mike Trout got a little groin injury.
Yeah, so the problem is you don't address your pitching. If you address everything, you can paint everything nice. You can get all the players you want to put around. They develop Taylor Ward into a star, or not a star, but a good player now. Like,
he hurt too now.
That dude has played every position. He started out as a catcher, I think. He went from catcher, couldn't cut it. He went to third, couldn't cut it. He went to first, couldn't cut it. So they put him in the outfield, and now he's doing good. So, but
check this out, because you like the one that surprised you a little bit is kind of the Joe Maddon one. Let's be frank, right? If LeBron James had a team that lost 13 games in a row, that coach is not surviving. If Kobe Bryant had a coach that lost 13 games in a row, that coach is not surviving. You got to think, like, when you have what is regarded as one of the top 3 players, maybe top 5 players in the MLB on your team, and another guy that could very well be there too, if you want to combine everything, and you lose 12, 13 games in a row, you're not going to survive, because the expectations are way too high for you to be looking like the Bad News Bears every night. So yeah, that had to happen, honestly. Well, but the Angels have always been towards the bottom of shit. Like they haven't won the pennant in God knows how long. Yeah, but 13 games in a row is a bad taste. It's really bad. And they haven't been super great in the last 18 years or whatever. Well, the last 15 years when Vlad and stuff like that. But like still, they're still not. They haven't been like the worst team. I agree, but I think, but from my point, like baseball's just been a very patient sport. There's a shit ton of games you got to play in baseball compared to the others, and but like you said earlier, like you want to get this shit out the way before August hits, because then August sneaks up on you. Like, damn, quick. We already 2 months into the season. I feel like it started 2 weeks ago. Exactly, and it's just more surprising me because he hasn't been there. Well, he's been there a year, and that's it. And it's given up, and I'm cool with it. I have no problem with it. Do you think some players in the locker room went up to management like, "Yo, this is not working"? You think that's why they got rid of him? Because it was very sudden. I used to have friends that played for the Angels when Socia was there, and Mike Trout is untouchable. Like, I remember there was a story. He's untouchable. Like, I remember the story one time where Weaver was throwing a no-hitter, and he was sitting at the end of the bench away from the team, and I think Trout like threw a water bottle at him or something like that, and he got upset. And they told Weaver to chill out, and he's like, "It's Mike Trout. You're not going to do shit, really?" Of course he's not. So because if Trout leaves, the Angels, like, damn, it's game over. But even at that, Ohtani's in a contract here too, so you gotta do something about that. You're gonna be a Red Sox next year. I think they're gonna pay another guy a lot of money. The thing about that, though, what I was trying to get at is, you got your first taste of winning beginning of the season. You were up on top in the division, and you were winning, and you were sitting pretty, and then you came tumbling down quick. And I think when management and fans see that, it just gets really, really bad. It puts a bad taste in their mouth, and they don't expect this, and they don't want to keep living to this type of culture. Because ideally, if you look at that Angels roster, and if you look at the Phillies roster, these should be teams that could be competing in the postseason every year. Yep. They put out the perfect, I wouldn't say perfect teams. They put out very good, serviceable teams to go out there and do it. However, they don't address what needs to be addressed. And it's not the coaching, it's not the hitting, it's not the defense, it's always your pitching. The Angels have not had particularly the bullpen. And you guys don't have good pitching either. Yeah. I mean,
What's
Well, I mean Zach Wheeler was a pitcher, NL pitcher of the month last month.
Mhm.
Nola's been up and down. Eflin's been up and down. Ranger's been up and down. So yeah, you're right. They've been up and down. But
outside of,
to me, they're talented though. At least at the very minimum, those are still solid guys. But what the Rays have taught us is that it don't matter. The Rays bullpen has made them successful for the last 12 years. Like
we talk about this every time. There's no pressure in Tampa Bay. You and I could go pitch out there and be freaking all-stars. There's no pressure there. There's nobody.
12 people at I went to the game the other day when they played who they played the other day? The White Sox, right? There was more White Sox fans at the damn stadium than Rays fans. Like when the White Sox went up 6-0 early, and I'm telling you, the stadium was cheering. I'm like, yo, I thought I was in Tampa, not the south side of Chicago. Like, what the hell's going on? And that's where the problem lies.
Yeah, but there's no pressure to play there. Everyone's against them, and then they're for them. So when they win, so anybody can be an amazing. You basically come to Tampa to get your payday when you leave. That's what you come here for. So my question to you is: do you think Girardi and or Maddon have lost their touch at managing in baseball?
I mean, I think in professional sports, all the old guys are going to start getting phased out because it's a new world we live in. Let's call it a butt. It's technology. It's what's the word? Analytics. It's all that stuff, right? But think about it. Pete Carroll.
I watched Moneyball last night.
Huh?
I watched Moneyball last night.
There you go. So think about it. Pete Carroll lost his touch. Bill Belichick kind of lost his touch. In NBA, what old guys are left? Greg Popovich has not been good since Tim Duncan and Kawhi left them. Like all these older guys who are still managing and coaching, I don't think they're able to connect with today's player anymore. We're seeing it as a reoccurring thing in sports where everyone's talking about, yeah, these new guys are getting coddled, they get paid too much money, blah, 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 blah. We're just in a very different time. And what we grew up watching is not the same sport in baseball, in football, and basketball, shit, maybe even hockey. I don't really know too much, but like it's not the same sport. So yeah, I mean, how old is Girardi? Well, he's in his 60s. Is he in his 60s yet? Maddon, I know he's a little older too. I mean, outside of Dusty Baker, what other old coach, like old coach that stuck to the old ways is really doing anything? You got to think about that one.
I know, and that's one thing that I've noticed, and I thoroughly enjoy seeing is like the transition to like we see it in the NFL now. What do we say? Pair a young head coach with a young quarterback and just grow your franchise after that.
Yeah.
Or I mean, do it the other route. Get an experienced guy that just wants to win and stick him in a system that wins. But
like the Rams had Andrew Whitworth, who's older than his head coach. Can you imagine being 5 years older than your head coach? That's just crazy. But that's where we're headed to.
But at the same time, like I thoroughly enjoy it because you get to see a chance on the other side, and you get to hear the voice that was always shunned or quieted in the locker room, like, wait your turn. Like, no, now is my turn. I'm gonna go get it. And you see the common theme. We saw the NFL in the Super Bowl. We saw two young head coaches there. You're seeing young head coaches get their opportunity in sports, and NBA too. So I thoroughly enjoy it. I think both of them. I just think there's too many egos. I think both managers have very big egos, and I think there's a lot of
because they've had success.
Yeah, because they've had success, and I think both teams have players with like, you can't tell me Bryce Harper's ego is not big. It's big as shit.
It's been big since high school. Like he's been cocky since high school.
Those boys got egos and they want to win. I think where those guys fit in and do what they did, like Joe Maddon with the Rays, there was nobody with an ego to talk shit there. There was no one going to talk shit. And the Yankees, you grew up in that system. You're well loved. You're enjoyed. You were there for 10 years, and then finally they decided, oh, we're gonna bring in Aaron Boone, which I wasn't happy about, but they were still winning. It's not like they didn't win a World Series with them. We haven't won one with Aaron Boone. So I just think that they saw something a little bit earlier. We need to get younger. We need to get Aaron Boone, who's 6 or 7 years younger, whoop-de-doo, but whatever. Let's bring on another Yankee favorite to coach the team. But I don't know. I think there's gas in the tank. They just got to land with the right organizations. Like Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter's old as shit, but he's definitely a winning coach.
But he's somebody who you can tell who adapts. I can, like, when he was like on ESPN, I would just kind of just watch how he speaks and everything. He's somebody that's not afraid to adapt. And Aaron Boone's in his 40s. Like, that's young to me. Like, compared to these 65 and 70-year-olds like Dusty Baker and them. Like, Pete Carroll was 70, Bill Belichick 70, Nick Saban 70.
No offense to Dusty Baker, though, but I feel like it was a panic move and a PR move at the same time to hire him, because
of course it was. What do you think it was?
So it is what it is. But speaking of,
and in a PR move, he got him to the World Series. Hello.
Exactly. So speaking of Buck Showalter and the Mets, the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers surging, playing best baseball I've seen in a while. Even with injuries on their teams. Like, I know for us, Donaldson was out for a bit. Higashioka was out for a bit.
I brought in Matt Carpenter. That was random.
Matt Carpenter's revived his career. He's just there for his bat. That's it. Nothing else. And the Nelson Stasher he's supporting too, which I like.
Stan is a surgeon, by the way. Hello.
What was that?
What is that? They won 7 of the last 10.
They're the real deal.
Yeah,
that's got injuries too. Marte's probably going to go out with some injuries. Nimmo's been out with some day-to-days. And then even the Dodgers, Max Muncy's not getting it started, but he's on the injury list. Hopefully when he gets back, he can, start raking again and help my fantasy team. So, but I mean, these are franchises we expect this from, if keep it a buck for real. Like the Yankees, the Mets, Dodgers, they're always top of the line, big spending organizations. And yeah, they spent this offseason. I think obviously the Dodgers may have broke the bank the most to get Freddie Freeman, so that's expected. And the Mets went and got Scherzer. How much more does he have left in the tank? He's injured as well, and then you got what's his face, DeGrom coming back from injury. For them to not have their two aces on the mound and still be able to get it done, what are they going to address? The bullpen.
Yeah, they still, how many games up on? They 8 games up on Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't see. Atlanta seems like they're getting a little bit better, but I don't see them catching the Mets. I see us getting close to the same record as the Braves. So the Mets are going to run the NL East. The Dodgers are going to run the NL West. And the Yankees are going to run the AL East. That's how it's going to slice to me, no matter what.
I don't count my chickens before they hatch, man. I'm enjoying this wave and I'm riding it. And I'm wearing my Yankee hat a lot now, but you can't sleep on organizations like the Rays. Can't sleep on an organization like the Red Sox. You can't sleep on a lot of organizations, because if they get, like, look at you right now. You won 5 games in a row. What if you won 14 games in a row?
Shit. And also the Padres are coming too. The Padres, damn. I didn't realize. They're 5-5 in the last 10, but the Dodgers are 4-6 in their last 10. So they're close.
The Padres are the greatest, like, comparison to the Brooklyn Nets of baseball. Like, you promise all this great shit, but you won't get shit done. Like, I don't have any.
Hey, they got a 2020 championship.
Yeah, whatever. They're trash, man.
Was it that bubble championship?
Yeah. They didn't win shit. They didn't win that.
Yeah, I'm 2020.
I'm talking about the Padres, not
the Padres. Oh, no. The Padres to me are more like the Phoenix Suns. They never win shit, and they've had chances.
They have such a good team, and they're not frightful to me. Manny Machado, like, I love the guy. He's probably my favorite third baseman in baseball, but, like, get out of there, man. You got to get out of there. So, no, it's just good to be a Yankee fan again, and good to see these teams, because the Mets have people been wearing trash bags for years on their heads, saying the Mets, they are the whole same old Mets, and the Yankee fans, like, we can't get past the Rays, can't get past the Red Sox, and now Red Sox are what, like 13 games back. The Rays are 7.5 back or 8 games back.
But they're both still playing well now. Like it's not like the Yankees can just coast.
Yeah.
Somehow the Rays find a way to do it. The Red Sox obviously have the talent to do it. So the Yankees got to make sure. I mean, the schedule is going to get a little bit tougher. So they got to just make sure that, they try to stay consistent, stay on top of these injuries. When are y'all doing that? When's that Subway Series?
I think it's next week. I think it is.
No, not yet.
I think we play the Cubs this weekend. But what I was going to get at is the AL East is very competitive. Remember, beginning of the year, everybody was saying the Blue Jays, the Blue Jays, the Blue Jays, the Blue Jays.
Hey, they still look good to me.
They still look good.
The Blue Jays still look scary to me. I mean, I'm like a Blue Jay closet supporter because I like them. I like the players that they provide for me in fantasy. So I'm always kind of mad at, watching them play. Them boys, they got talent, man.
I'm not gonna lie. I've always cheered for the Blue Jays too, even though they're in the same division. I've been a closet fan too. I can appreciate the Blue Jays and the teams they put together, but they don't scare me. We've mopped them up a couple times already. And remember the first game, what was it, that they played against us in New York? Vladdy hit 3 home runs, and I was like, fuck, they're the real deal. Then we pulled their pants down and spanked them every other one. So I ain't scared of them. And I got no beef with the kid. I just don't see why people are like, oh my God, he's the next best thing. Bo Bichette.
I screwed the pooch on that one.
Huh?
I screwed the pooch on that one.
Man, everyone was saying like he's gonna be the next. I need to see it. I need to see it. He's humble. He's very humble, and I like that about him. But I just think they want to groom him to be the best player on the team, but it's Vlad. Vlad is your best player.
Of course it's Vlad, yeah. Of course.
They don't want to give him that credit because he's just big.
Do y'all know that the Yankees have only given up 160 runs this year? And the next closest is 183 to Houston. Everybody else is in the 200s. What kind of shit is that?
That's insane.
160 runs, that's it? Golly.
I was bitching about the pitching, and I'm eating
about the pitching. That rhymes.
And I'm eating crow, and I'm loving it, man. These boys in the bullpen, like I didn't know. I knew who they were, but I was like, these guys were pinatas last year. Why are we bringing them out? Thank God Clark Schmidt does not see the ball ever. If that guy was on the team, I'd quit. That guy gave up too many runs. But King wasn't doing this last year. Holmes was, up and down last year, but while Chapman is out, serviceable. And
seriously. Well, did it say when Chapman's supposed to come back?
He has like a ruptured Achilles.
Ooh.
So he's just like rehabbing it, I think is what something with his Achilles. It's like sore. So he's just like rehabbing. So 15-day.
Hey, the schedule for y'all this month. Y'all got the Cubs, y'all got the Rays twice, Astros, and then the A's. The A's, that's it. And then y'all got the current one with the Twins. I mean,
really?
It's starting to pick up a little bit.
Yeah, no. Realistically, the 3 teams that we just mentioned, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers, I would say have the 3 hardest divisions in baseball, in my humble opinion. Once again, the AL East is definitely the toughest. Nobody can fight me on that.
Of course.
I mean, with the Orioles there, the Orioles used to be in contention, 6 years ago? The
Orioles are free wins for everybody in that division.
Yeah.
You try to get some free wins out the win, play the Orioles.
Second or third series, they swept us. So
yeah, it happens.
And fun fact, the Pirates swept the Dodgers for the first time in since the 60s or something like that.
It's still the dog days then, because people obviously are not trying hard enough.
I guess not. But realistically, in these divisions, you should be neck and neck. But for these 2 teams just to be pulling away, I think it's insane. It's just showing you that everything is paid off for them. The right moves the Mets did. The Mets went and got the bullpen that they said they needed and the pitching. And the thing about the pitchers is they're good pitchers, but they're not going to go. I mean, they can definitely go complete games if they need to, but 5 innings and then the bullpen takes over. 5 innings and the bullpen takes over. 5 innings and the bullpen takes over. And that's how you should win baseball games, in my opinion. Get as much out of your pitcher as you can, and if he turns into a piñata, yank his ass immediately, man. But these teams just leave him in there. I don't get it. And Dodgers, anybody on that team can throw gas. And the Yankees, I don't know how they have the best starting rotation in baseball, but hey, I'm not complaining. So
no,
I'm happy. I'm a happy Yankee fan. Just know that.
For now, fair weather fan. For now.
That's one team I never give up on, though. That's one team I'm never against. So, all right, let's go talk some NFL now. Let's go. Deshaun Watson obviously breaks the bank with his deal, all guaranteed. Hold up. Now we got some more news. You break the news to them, KK, because you know it a little bit better than me. You probably got the numbers.
This dude, man. So I've been following this Deshaun Watson thing since it started. I mean, since he first asked for a trade from Houston last January, because we started our show.
And if I give you any props, you've been right about a lot of shit. Because I was like, it's fucked up on the ownership side. You were like, maybe we don't know something that ownership knows. And now
I'll be following. But yeah, he's so I've been watching this shit just unfold. And when he missed the whole season last year, I was like, bro, this is crazy. There's no way I thought he's gonna miss the whole season. I don't think he's gonna play next season either.
I don't either.
A 23rd and 24th case came out, mind you, that we know of, because he's reported by, I think it was the New York Times. He in the last 17 months, well, not in the last 17 months now, but up until that point in which the reports started coming out, those 17-month span, he had 66 different masseuses, not 66 different massages, 66 different masseuses. Is that the right? Is it masseuses or masseusi? Massage therapists, whatever. He had 66 in a year and a half, less than a year and a half, mind you. How, like, bruh? It's at first I was like, this seems kind of shady and kind of weird, bruh. And then I watched this thing it was on Real Sports with Gumbel and the girls that came out kind of just giving a little bit of their story. And it put like a little bad taste in my mouth with Deshaun Watson. And then this 23rd and 24th case came out. And then I was just looking at the Browns. I'm like, y'all jumped the gun. Because as soon as that report came out back in March that he wasn't going to be tried criminally, everyone just assumed, like, I bet, let's go trade for him, right? Bro, they gave this man a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. And he might not even play next year. And from what I've been told, unless he settles this thing early, the cases can go up until 2024. So it's like, bruh, like, it's a really bad look for him. He's losing the court of public perception. Because before, we never saw Deshaun Watson as a guy that was like, oh, he's going to be a troublemaker. He has an issue. He has demons. Nothing. We just saw a tough guy that played at Clemson. Went to beat Alabama once out of the 2 times he made it there. Made some superhero plays. Came into the NFL and lit it up. Towards the kid, his ACL still came back, lit it up, and then they took away all his weapons, and then he asked for a trade. Up until that point, we had never said anything negatively about Deshaun Watson. Now, bro, tell me what woman is gonna read all this stuff and then want to watch him play next year. I'm like, because if you gotta take it from a perspective of a woman. Like, if I'm a woman and I'm hearing that the quarterback is doing that and the NFL is not doing anything about it, and they're just dragging their foot through the mud and they're just gonna let him play after 4 games or something like that. What's up?
Pussyfooting.
Yeah, pussyfoot and all that stuff. It's a bad look. It's a bad look for Deshaun Watson. It's a bad look for the NFL, and it's a horrible look for the Cleveland Browns, because as much flack as I used to give Baker Mayfield, I'm like, bro, just play better, just play better, just play better. He did put his body on the line for him. He was their number 1 overall pick just a little bit ago. He did get him back to the playoffs and win their first playoff game in a long time. And then they straight dogged him, disrespected him. A lot of it due to his fault, which I understand. But like, it's disrespectful how they did him. Like,
he's still there. He's still there.
Like, Garoppolo got the 49ers to the Super Bowl, right? He's been a very good, decent quarterback for them. But they didn't disrespect Garoppolo like that. Like, they told his agent, go look for another team. Like, they haven't been, making him look stupid in the media. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's the way they treated Baker Mayfield, it's kind of jacked up, man. It's jacked up. So it looks bad on a lot of different aspects right now.
It doesn't. And then what I'm reading and understanding too is they're looking ways to suspend the contract if it's all related to these allegations too. So
yeah,
it'll be a crazy, crazy turn of events because you just made him the highest paid player in history of the NFL.
Fully guaranteed 230. We've never seen that.
No. And it's insane to think that a guy who, we were I don't want to say naive to the situation. We were like, yo, this guy needs a new fresh start, blah, 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 this and that. Yeah. Trying to find ways to be like that. But if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it sure as fuck ain't a dog.
It's not a mongoose.
Exactly.
Hey, yo, and also really quickly, what added? Because remember, I came on here a couple of weeks, months, whatever it was, and I was like, I think what he's guilty of is of being really horny. That's what he's guilty of, right? And then, so basically, he was saying that he hasn't done anything to disrespect women. But if you keep exposing yourself to everybody that massages you, bro, you have more than just I'm a horny person problem. There's something mentally that you need to get checked out because that is like on character. I mean, it is what's the word? It's like a dominance kind of thing because people rape people not just from a sexual standpoint because they're attracted to them. They rape to establish dominance. And for him to feel like it's okay to just expose himself to everybody and think they're going to be okay with it. And then if you read all the stuff that they were talking about, I'm like, damn, this is like some graphic details. And then his damn lawyer says, there's nothing wrong about asking for a happy ending. Bro, like you cannot say that about your client while he's going through this situation right now, because that's not what these girls took it as. And at the end of the day, you got to, you have to, if it's offensive to that person, you have to believe why it's offensive to him. Because what's offensive to me might not be offensive to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but it's a bad look all around. It's a bad look.
Yeah, it is. And at the end of the day, it's like you were saying earlier about like women coming to see games. You're basically allowing somebody who's obviously he's innocent until proven guilty, but more and more and more keeps coming out about this guy. And it's unfortunate because, like you said, he had a clean slate up until now, but everything came to a crashing burn in a very weird way. They get rid of his receivers and all of his weapons, and then he wants out. Well, why? They had to have known something was going on there. And I'm not saying Houston's off the hook. Houston's definitely a shitty place to play as well.
The lawyer that's representing those 24 girls is very really close with the owner of the Texans. So obviously he must have told him something months before that came out. Because if something is about if I have a big story I'm about to release, best believe I'm gonna tell a lot of people who are close to me.
Yeah,
the mayor and him are very close.
And it sucks, but it is what it is. And from a woman's standpoint, if you let this guy play, what kind of justice are we holding or upholding in the NFL for people? Oh, you can literally sit out an entire year and pussyfoot around and do whatever the fuck you want, go get some tug jobs and then come back and be the highest paid player.
Yeah, that's the part that y'all messed up. That's where they really messed up.
Mm-hmm. And then you have a guy and we give him so much shit, and now I have to eat all my words on it. Baker Mayfield, who you just said all of his criteria, drafted him one. He came in week 1, and I hated him when he said Duke Johnson can leave, but he gets your team into the playoffs. He gets you your first fucking win. He gets you taste of playoffs again, and now you outcast him very quickly. Hasn't been there for 5 years, I don't think.
No, this would be his. He'd be going to his 5th year. I believe that's what it is.
Hasn't even been there for 5 years, and you have success with it, and you decide to ostracize him and get him out of this.
They did him dirty. They did him dirty.
I guarantee you, they're going to beg him to come back. He has no place.
All right, role play. You're Baker Mayfield. I'm the new GM who happens to be black. He's making us look bad right now. But anyway, hey, I call you on the phone because I'm scared to see you in person. I'm like, hey, Baker, What's going on, Baker?
Eat a dick.
No, wait. I'll call you back. Hey, look, man, look. We
Eat a
screwed
dick.
up, man. I'm sorry. We'll give you equity in it. Like now you gotta beg for this man to come back.
If I'm Baker Mayfield now, all those comparables they were looking at to possibly pay me, I would say, you're voiding that contract, right? Well, pay me what you said those incentives were, plus some more.
I think because I don't think they can void the whole contract, but they're in trouble. Like financially, the Cleveland Browns are never gonna be a good football team. Like honestly, I'm convinced. Like Deshaun Watson could come back and play in 2024, whatever the situation, 2020, whatever the situation.
They need Kevin Costner back. They need Kevin Costner to come back
and do draft day all over again. But now, well, the backup right now is Jacoby Brissett. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is serviceable. I mean, shit, he can get you 17 games. He can win you. I mean, you're not going to get to the Super Bowl. You might not get to the playoffs, but he's gonna get you 8 or 9 wins regardless. He's a 500 kind of quarterback to me. So they need to just do Baker. They need to do right by Baker and let him have an opportunity to pick where he wants to go. Like, hey, Seattle, hey, Carolina, whatever. Which one of these 2 teams do you prefer? And then Seattle or Carolina, let's just make this work. We'll eat some of the cap, whatever. We'll eat some of his money, whatever. Because now he's not coming back to play for them. He wrote a letter to the fans telling them goodbye. I enjoy my time here. He's gone. He's out of that building. He packed up his locker from the Progressive commercials and all that. Like he's gone. So yeah, they need to just do right by him and just let him pick the team that he kind of wants to go to, so he has an opportunity to start and revitalize his career. I mean, Drew Brees was once a Charger. Ain't nobody remember that. Nobody remembers that. Drew Brees was a Charger at one point. So
it's sad because like I remember we freaking dogged the guy and
I feel bad. I do feel bad.
I feel bad dogging him because like he did put it all out there for him. Yeah, his childish manners definitely played.
That was the problem. He's not a leader to me. He talks too much.
He talks too much, and he has my favorite Stephen A. quote of all time, man. More commercials than wins. That's number one. And my also favorite one is what he says about Leon Rose about the Knicks. You can find guys in state penitentiaries quicker than you can find him.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate, man, because now if I'm Cleveland, my back's up against the wall. I don't have a court. If this is only if they find him or suspend him for this whole season again. So if you suspend this guy for a whole season,
and keep in mind, he wasn't even suspended last year. He was just told he got paid all of last year to go practice Monday through Friday and then sit at home for the weekend. And he wasn't even practicing with the team. He got paid to use their facilities to go work out or whatever, throw the ball, say hi to the camera, but not actually speak. And then he said, so he already got a year to just chill. But to actually suspend him, that is what they need to do, because like suspension without pay. But Cleveland, though, dumbass, only made his salary $1 million. People, that's another thing people don't even pay attention to. His 2022 salary, yes, he's getting paid $40 million, whatever what was it, 45 million, whatever it is per year. He's getting that money, but that's coming in a different form, like bonus this and signing bonus and all that stuff. But his actual salary is $1 million. So if he gets suspended without pay, he's only being suspended for $1 million, and the rest of the 40 million blah 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 gets into his bank account. That's guaranteed dollars anyway. They really screwed up, bro. They screwed up.
But the sad part is the NFL will still make this mistake over and over again. They keep doing it. I keep calling it modern slavery. It really is. They pay for guys like, who's the dude who used to play for the Panthers that beat up his girlfriend and the Cowboys gave him a chance?
Freaking Hardy, his bum ass.
You'd have never given him a chance in the NFL.
They gave him a job after all that.
Gave him a job after it. And now you got this guy. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, obviously. But
you know what the problem is? always say that sports is the microcosm of the world, of America, actually, but of the world. Sports is a microcosm of the world, but the NFL is a microcosm of America to me. And think if you want to, I mean, I don't like to get, I don't care about politics. I don't do politics, whatever. But you did have a guy who got accused by a lot of women and of sexual misconduct, and then he said, "Grab her right by the you know what," and he was the president of the United States.
Pussyfoot.
Yes, he was. Yeah, grab her right by the and they still voted him in to be the president of the United States, and they still want him back in 2 years. You know what I mean? So if they were going to let him, with all his antics, be the president, you don't think they're going? You think the NFL cares that Deshaun Watson has all these cases? They just want a public perception, like, yo, we gave him 8 games without pay. We made him join this society and that society, but the dude is a top 5 quarterback, and he's going to get butts in the seats. That's all they care about. So
money. At the end of the day. And it's the same dudes that preach these morals to their families and their friends and stuff that turn the other cheek and watch people do this shit to them all the time. So
they'll much rather have somebody who's been accused of 50 rapes in the NFL than somebody who kneeled for police brutality. Like that's the NFL, and that is the world that we live in. The United States of America that we live in. That's just how it is, dog.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, this is like a never-ending story, and just to fathom to think that this guy, like, I want to be on his side. I really want to try and find ways to say like that, but I'm out too. I'm out.
Bro. I can't. There's nothing I can defend anymore. Cause I got sisters, bro. I can't even imagine. I have a sister who's a massage therapist, and like she's on TV crying. Like nobody's getting paid to go cry and like tell these graphic stories. I find it hard to believe that he needs 66 masseuses in a 17-month span. Clearly, he's not just there for massages. Like 60 freaking 6. How do you have time to do that in an NFL season? I have no idea. They have masseuses at the damn team facility that the Houston Texans paid masseuses to be in the facility. The best physical therapists, occupational therapists, massage therapists that money can afford, and he's got to go to the what's the massage place? Massage Envy Titty Bar to go, get a little tug job with Robert Kraft. But it is what it is, dog.
It's just sad to think this is the society we live in, man. So,
66
wrapped up, and I want to stop hearing about it because it's realistic. It's freaking annoying to me at this point. I can't stand it anymore. I'm over it. All right.
Yes.
Let's shed some light. Let's make it more positive. Let's do our fun segment. So
it's positive because these people beat people up.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's positive because it came from the mouth of Draymond. So a la Draymond Green's speech at the end, kind of calling out all the 90s enforcers, saying he can hang with them and Grant Williams wants to be like him and all of this stuff. We decided to put a list together of I'm not doing like all time because I never saw some guys play, that are probably out there that people be like, oh, look, but I'm talking about ones that I knew and I watched. Modern day, yeah. So I guess I always start first. So for me, obviously I'm a Knicks fan. We all know Charles Oakley. Definitely know Charles Oakley as the bodyguard to Michael Jordan, the bodyguard to Patrick Ewing, the oak tree. Obviously, he got hands.
You need, all right, before you continue, sorry. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch Charles Oakley on Shannon Sharp's podcast.
Yeah.
The dude loves to fight. Like he, by nature, he talks about all the scraps that he's been in. He's been in street fights. His college basketball team fought the other college basketball team. Like Charles Oakley is when they say the NFL players are soft, that is not what he's talking about. That is not him.
He's from Ohio, from Cleveland. What do you expect, man?
And then he moved to the South and was picking like corn and strawberries and stuff because he lived on a farm, like Shannon Sharp said as well. So yeah, they were baling hay and shit like that. Like when you got somebody from the country doing country shit, they got grown man strength. That is just, all these offensive linemen you see in the NFL, they all come from them country fields and they have grown man strength. Charles Oakley has grown man strength and hands. So yeah. And hands.
Anthony Mason is another one for me too. Yeah. Anthony was like definitely an enforcer, and I enjoyed watching him play. Rest in peace.
Yep.
You got to throw Bill Laimbeer in there. Obviously, I didn't watch him, but his highlights are prolific when we watch sports documentaries. I'm trying to think of some other ones that when I was younger that I got to see.
Do you know who I found to be like, and then the most talented enforcer of all time, because his talent exceeded how much of an enforcer he really was? But Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett is to me is one of the greatest power forwards that has ever played basketball. And he was his own enforcer. Like he didn't need to hire the bodyguard. He was the bodyguard. Like he talked trash to everybody and anybody on the court. He'll be in the middle of a scuffle if he needs to be. He gonna come to your locker room. He gonna beat his head on the wall. Like he's crazy.
Yeah, he backed it up too. He was that good.
And backed it up with talent.
Who else you got on yours?
I got the Oak Man too. I thought about Ben Wallace just from a physical standpoint. When you see Ben Wallace, bro, I'm like, bro, that dude's arms are the size of my head. Like Ben Wallace just looked, and he wasn't even all that tall. He's only like 6'9", but he just looked so strong. And if you're 6'9" and you win 3 or 4 defensive player year of the war or whatever, and grabbing all those rebounds and blocking all those shots, clearly people are intimidated by your presence. So just from just the way he just carried himself. I mean, that Ron Artest brawl at the Malice at the Palace all started because Ben Wallace got fouled and pushed the shit out of Ron Artest and then pushed him again and then pushed him until he was on the side before the guy threw the beer. So Ben Wallace that's somebody who I would say enforced the last shit.
On there too. She's got to be on that list.
She's just crazy. He's just up here. And but think about it. He was more to the refs, not necessarily to like other players. He berated the refs though. That to me was more of his forte. But I just think he was kind of psycho. Like Dennis Rodman was just kind of psycho.
Ron Artest kind of psycho too.
Ron Artest he is clinically psycho though. So I try not to talk too badly about him, but yeah, he was kind of crazy. And then everybody in the 90s that played for the Chicago Bulls, Miami Heat, Charlotte Hornets, and New York Knicks, those are all dogs because they was all about that life. And then Indiana joined the party when they got the Davis brothers, they got Jalen Rose, and they were like, "Yo, we joined the party too." So that little rivalry that the East used to have during that time, those are all the tough guys to me. I mean, them dogs. That's when the scores are 75-70 because everybody's just fighting and throwing elbows, like dragging Jeff Van Gundy across the court. I mean, Alonzo Mourning was throwing bows. Everybody. Those 4 or 5 teams in the 90s. That's where they all at, bro. That's where they all at. That's the answer to that question.
I agree. 90s basketball is just. You're not going to get enforcers like that anymore. And if become a dime a dozen.
It was different. Like, think about it. If Draymond Green was talking all this shit against Charles Oakley would have laid him out by now. Like, in the 90s, that's the difference between basketball today and basketball in the 80s and 90s. It wasn't that the game, it's not like, they called too many fouls, blah, blah, blah. It was that those guys were more willing to punch you in the face. They were more willing to knock your block. Larry Bird was willing to punch somebody in the face. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar willing to punch somebody in the face. Michael Jordan wanted all the smoke. So like it was just back then, people were just more willing to punch you in the face. Now everybody does AAU together. They're making $50 million a year. They chilling. They got Instagram follow. They're not worried about all that stuff right now. And Draymond Green is just one of few in the NBA who's really about that life. Him, maybe Patrick Beverly, Who
Would you
else?
consider Pat Beverly an enforcer?
Oh, a little. He's like a little terrier. See, he barks a lot. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Udonis Haslam, but shit. Udonis Haslam is the modern day. That's that. If he played more minutes now, we'll see it more. But like, yo, I remember when Tyler Hansbrough, I think he got LeBron or D Wade, and very next game, Udonis Haslam came and knocked him out the motherfucking shoes. So that's what I love. That's the basketball that I remember. So hopefully we get back to that mid-90s basketball. I heavily doubt it because we got all these people wanting to be like Steph Curry when they grow up. So what we used to love, that's never coming back. But it's just, yeah.
It's a different NBA, like you said.
It's a different world.
It's hot outside, and I got AC, so we good.
Yo, like why we? Hey, what are we doing? Like back then, they needed a second job. Now they need somebody to hold their money for them. Like they just got bread, bro. You could be a bad basketball player who plays no minutes, but you on the end of that 12-man roster or 15-man roster, you getting paid $1 million regardless, regardless. So, hey. That's the world we live. Back then, they'll probably make $20,000. I can't live off of this. I gotta be a cop at the same time. That's why JJ Redick caught that flack for saying they played against plumbers and garbage men. Well, that's because they had to. They had to make ends meet.
Fucking insane, man. But yeah, that's who I got, definitely for sure. Anthony Mason was the one that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, he was a dog.
This is a monster.
He was a good dog.
All right, let's wrap up the show. You can find us on Twitter at fair_weather_pod, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Search the Fair Weather Podcast, and where you subscribe to podcasts, you can hear our audio there. Game 3 tonight, 1-1 series. Who will win?
For like Sunday or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Saturday, whatever it is. Y'all enjoy Game 4 when that comes on. Shout out to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Keep doing your thing, Lightning. God.
Hello, we tied that bitch up, and now we going back to New York. Is scary though, man. They play really well at home, but hopefully we take.
You rarely hear me say this, but fuck New York. Okay?
Ooh, hey, and then when they won the other day, I was like, yo, you never gonna hear me say this. I was like, Champa Bay. I was like, oh shit, Champa Bay. I like that shit now.
My love for hockey came by watching the Lightning, and it was when they were bad. And watching this Cooper phase come in and grow, and I'm not a bandwagoner. I thoroughly enjoy programs that put together good teams, and I'm happy there's one at home base. So, and I don't care what anybody says, Tampa is a hockey town. It's not a baseball town. And it's
get that team. Hey, DeSantis, give the Rays some money so they can come to Eeyore, please, bro. It's not that serious, bro. It's not that serious. Get them boys some money.
Stay out of politics.
Slide some bread over that way, man. That's messed up. All right, peace.
Any words of wisdom?
Oh, that's it, bro. Just go Lightning and take care of your mentals and your cheese and your chickens. That's all.
I like that one.